Okay, let's get started. Hello and welcome to the Judo Way of Life. My name's David. I hope you're training hard and I hope you're throwing hard. Firstly, I'd like to say a big thank you for watching the videos, and to anyone who gets involved, you subscribe, you like and you comment. Really appreciate all the support, and I really hope that my videos have helped you improve your judo. Doing a bit of a run now, and started off with my top 5 favourite throws and then sort of snowball from there really. That video was actually just I was trying to think of just some content to post on Instagram, and then it's just turned into a whole thing. And I've enjoyed doing these videos because it's got me thinking about my judo again in terms of from a competitive standpoint. And recently, over the past couple of years, been more focused on competition judo. So scrap that. Been more focused on coaching judo, okay? And thinking about what my athletes need, or if I'm coaching the kids classes, what basics and fundamentals I need to teach them, and right through to any of the sort of high level athletes I've been working with, and really focusing on their judo, which has been amazing. And it's been a great shift, and I've learned more about judo these past couple of years as a coach than I ever did as an athlete. But having said that, it has been nice looking retrospectively at the judo that I've done over the years, and really thinking about what my favourite throws are in each category. So today is top 4 Koshi Waza. It was meant to be top 3, but when I was filming I just got carried away and started throwing more techniques in there. So there are 2 throws. I think that's why I got carried away, because I realised 2 throws were from my top 5. So there's not really much to say or add about those, but you've got both myself and Isaac throwing. So yes, we're both left-handed, but at least you're getting a bit of an idea of size difference between myself and Isaac, and how the throws can sort of look differently depending on style and that body weight and shape. Our personal bias towards gripping. Same throws, different approaches. First up, it's Harai Goshi. I originally covered Harai Goshi in my top 5 favourite throws video, so I don't really have much more to add, to be honest, around this throw and why it's one of my favourites. So if you are interested, go and check out that video, which I will link in the description below. But for now, you can just enjoy some lovely demonstrations from both Isaac and myself. And just on that point, Isaac is roughly about 66 kilos, and I'm currently a smidge over 100 kilos. So there's a fair weight difference, but as you can see, when done correctly, this is a great throw for heavyweights and lighter weights. Next is Koshi Guruma, which I also covered in the aforementioned video. So whilst you're checking out the Harai Goshi, you can stick around and watch for the Koshi Guruma and the reasons why that's in my top 5 and also my top 4 for Koshi Waza. Now I promise there is some new content coming up with some original thoughts, but I can't do a top Koshi Waza video without including both Harai Goshi and Koshi Guruma, seeing as though, as I said, they did make my top 5 favourite throws overall. Again, this is just such a good throw. It feels amazing to throw with once you get that arm around the head, making sure you keep everything tight. You get your hips through, and it's like a hot knife through butter when it goes right. It's just so smooth. Your opponent flies over, and now bish bash bosh, you're done, right? So I absolutely crap throw to be thrown with, but especially when your partner lands on your head. But hey ho, that's the sport we do. So my advice is to throw with Koshi Guruma and not be thrown with Koshi Guruma. There you have some wise words. Let's get into some of the new stuff now. Tsuri Goshi. So I use this throw a lot in conjunction with Koshi Guruma. So depending on how my opponents would react, if they postured up, then I would go for the Koshi Guruma. So if I put pressure on them to sort of pull my opponent down and then they postured up, that's when I'd come in for the Koshi Guruma. If they stayed in that bent over position, tried to defend from there, I would look to do the Tsuri Goshi, especially being tall with long reach. I would take hold of the belt and be able to lift and get my hips through and do a big pulling, lifting movement to get the throw. And usually would, especially in competition, would like roll right over on top of my opponent. In the videos here, I am throwing with the Tsuri Goshi, so the large, where I'm going right over the top. However, Isaac is doing the Koshi Guruma version, where he's coming underneath the arm and he's taking hold of the belt. And because I'm still in that bent over defending position, Isaac is having to do the Tsuri Goshi, so he's lifting through the belt to pull me over. So still doing exactly the same mechanics for throwing, apart from the angle of the grip's different from over to under. Just want to make sure that understand that this is not Goshi. There are differences in terms of how the throw is being executed. For Goshi, it would be a bit more of a round, circular kind of movement rather than that lift for the throw, and will be done against an opponent who was stood up really, not as bent over. So because of the bent over nature of the defense from the opponent, that's where you got to lift so you can be able to get your hips through, and that's what separates in this example the Goshi from the Tsuri Goshi variation. So last up is Tsuri Goshi. To me, this is one of the quintessential counters. I think alongside Uranag, this should be in every judoka's arsenal of throws. Once you reach a certain, once you reach a certain ability level. When you develop a good jugatai and you're able to use your hips to defend and block, I really think you should be looking to develop that into a way of throwing and winning. I don't really like the idea of just blocking to block and defend. Obviously, there's some times where throw is that good that all you can do is block and hope for the best. But I was brought up by my coach to always be looking to capitalize on a situation. So blocking and then trying to develop a throw where you take advantage of the situation. And I think Tsuri Goshi is a great way of doing that. When you get that jugatai just right and you're able to bounce your opponent up off your hip and they fly into the air and you just slip your hips through to finish the technique off, it just feels like poetry in motion. I suppose in terms of grading, traditional purposes, you're looking to get more of an Goshi kind of position for your hips, but in a competition, you just try and get them over. Where I've done a lot of times, it's been more of what would look like an Uki-Goshi finish, I'd say, much faster. Just get my hips through just enough to get the finish. And again, it depends really on how your opponent reacts or when you lift them. As you can see, the example Isaac, and ends up slightly off balance because I'm generating a lot of momentum, 100 and some kilos going through the air, and as I said before in the video, he's only about 66 kilos, so I feel as though he does quite well to actually save the throw here. And it does show that this throw can work on bigger people. So if you're fighting someone, if you're a lightweight and you find someone who's bigger in your dojo, it's not a case of I can't do that because they're bigger. And if you're fighting in an open weight competition and somebody comes through, I don't think you should be afraid of trying to use your hips to leverage a positive outcome for. So there you have it, my top 4 favourite Koshi Waza techniques. To be honest, this easily could have been a top 8. I mean, I'm not quite sure how many Koshi Waza techniques there are, but I do like hip throws. As you may have noticed, if you follow any of my other stuff and you have bought any or you've seen any of my Judo Fanatics coaching programs, they're all Ashi-Waza or Koshi Waza based. That forms pretty much the meat and potatoes of my judo, with a little sprinkle bit of seasoning of other things. And interested to know what your top 4 Koshi Waza techniques, whether you like hip throws, whether hip throws wouldn't even feature in your top. If you want to help out support the Judo Way of Life in any other ways, we do have a Patreon that just started where there will be some exclusive content, but it's just a way for you to help out so that I'm able to keep making these videos and bringing you more coaching programs. If you want to work one-on-one and you live in Sydney, then let me know. If you want to do one-on-one and you live somewhere else in the world, then we'll have to talk. But otherwise, if you are somewhere else in the world and you love the way I coach and you want to be involved and you want to work together, then I do have online coaching, which you can find down in the link below. And I'm also on the verge of releasing my online dojo. This is a website that I've been working on for quite a while now. So I've got nearly 20 hours worth of coaching footage. I think it's about 10 hours uploaded, with another 10 hours that will be coming soon. So I'll be launching that imminently, so keep your eyes peeled if you're interested in that. But for now, enough of me shamelessly advertising myself. Hope your training's going well. Keep training hard, throwing hard, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.